Hello, my lovely subscribers. I hope you're doing well today. So I'm going to be talking about the basics of vegetarianism. I'll start off by just talking and sharing a little bit about my history with that and where I'm coming from and where I'm going. Also, I'll talk about just kind of why it's healthier, you know, how animals come into it, and also protein and iron, just how the importance of that and how you actually can get the right amounts from a plant-based diet. So anyway, if you're interested in those things, please keep on watching. Alright, so first off, I'm just going to share kind of where I'm at in being a vegetarian. I am lacto-ovo, which means that I eat dairy and eggs, but I don't eat meat or fish at all currently. That's where I'm at. I kind of had this strange desire today to eat fish, so we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, that's how I've been for most of my life. When I was younger, up until I was probably like 16 or so, I would eat I would eat chicken once in a while. I mean, literally maybe like a few times a year, not hardly at all. Like chicken, turkey, like I even had bacon, but I've never had like a hamburger. I've never had steak, nothing like that. Some of you may be like, oh no, and I've got that a few times. But I'm actually okay with it. I'm quite fine with it at the moment. So that's, I mean, I've been that way all my life. My mom just became vegetarian at a young age, and she just continued it and raised us kids that way. And my sister and I have stuck to it. My brother has not, along with my dad, but that's okay. So anyway, that's just kind of where, I don't know how it started. When I was 16, I got kind of into the animal rights, like PETA type stuff, and I still don't like the idea of animals being hurt and people eating them, but I was really against it at that point, and that's when I decided, okay, I'm not eating any more meat at that point. And so that went on for about probably 2 years or so before I kind of settled down a little bit and was like, okay, people are way more important than animals. I should be focusing on what I can do to help people and not like freaking out about animals being murdered and all of that, which, like I said, I still don't like it, and I'll get to that a little bit more later, but I'm just not as intense about it right now. So I decided, from about 18 or so it's been about 6 years, to I just want to be vegetarian. I definitely think it's healthier based on my life versus people that I've seen that are not vegetarian, and it just depends, healthy eating is obviously a huge part of it, but I mean, from just things that I've read and stuff that I've heard over the years, just makes me continue to stay vegetarian because of all of the bad stuff that's out there in meat and stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much just the basics of where I'm at with it. So sorry, I'm obviously having lighting difficulties right now, so pardon that. Hopefully it's not distracting. Okay, so next point, I'm just going to talk just briefly, because I'm not super into knowledgeable about this, but just about why being vegetarian is healthier. I've just read some things recently to further that information in me that I'll share. A lot of times people that are vegetarian tend to have lower blood pressure and hypertension, also lower rate of type 2 diabetes. Also, they tend to have lower body mass index and lower overall cancer rates. So, I mean, those are from, studies, and you can look all that kind of stuff up for yourself if you're, trying to make a decision, or if you're just interested in that kind of information. There's tons of stuff out there, and I do think it's legitimate. I mean, it has to be if there's proven studies and stuff. But, I don't have a ton of knowledge about it. I'm just, I like the idea of just being healthier by eating plants, and I feel like we were made to be that way, and you can argue that point if you want. I'm not really going to get into debates about it, but I think that we were made to eat not meat, at least in the beginning. So that's definitely another point that I stand on, but it really is, overall, I think it's healthier, especially with all the nasty stuff that gets put into meat these days, that get fed to the animals that are killed that we eat. It's just, I mean, it's pretty scary. So, that's a huge point, which I will get to in the next point as well. Okay, so this Number three would be just talking about for the animals, and I said that I would get to more of that, so here it is. So like I said, I'm not hardcore PETA. I don't associate myself with PETA anymore. It's just not, in my eyes, it's not right to be that concerned about animals when there are people that are being killed way, like, just anyway, people are more important than animals. That's my bottom line. But I would invite you, if you're interested, to watch some food documentaries. I mentioned some in my other videos, but you'll see what I mean. Also, you know, look up on Google Images. Just be careful, not for the faint of heart. But I mean, honestly, like, it's really sad the way that animals are treated. I just don't think it's right. I mean, animals obviously are not important as humans, but they are created, and they are, like, they have a purpose, and they shouldn't be treated like so inhumanely. So just like as if they were nothing. I mean, they have brains, they have hearts, you know, to some extent. It's a really, like, kind of a vague thing, I guess, for some people, but for me, I like animals, and so it's tender. It's like a tender spot in my heart. So it's difficult for me to see how they're treated, and you know, I just don't like it. So I mean, that is something to consider, and I think that most people should be aware of it, honestly. Like, if you're going to be eating chicken and meat and stuff from animals that are being, like, skinned alive and all this kind of nasty stuff that happens, I mean, I think that you should be aware of it, because, I mean, maybe that'll make you think more, like, okay, is this right? Like, I don't know. Anyway, that's just kind of a little thought to throw out there. Yeah, it's kind of like, just because I don't, like, physically do it, like, I don't physically kill the animals, or I don't even watch it, it doesn't mean that it's right to support it by buying that product. I don't know, that's just another thought. You know, if you do eat meat and fish, like I said, definitely take advantage of the health benefits of organic or free range or no hormones, no antibiotic meat, because that's obviously, like, that kind of stuff, if it's going into the food you're eating that food, and those hormones and antibiotics and funky stuff that, like, make cows grow more and make them get fatter and make chickens, like, not grow beaks, or, you know, I don't even know what the kind of stuff that's in there, but I mean, that's going into your body, and it's like, we wonder why we have so many health problems these days, you know, and just in America especially, and it's like, maybe we should think about that a little bit. So anyway, I highly recommend you delving into that a little bit more for your own good, yeah, for your own information. Okay, number four is the number one question that I have been asked my entire life as a vegetarian, and that is, what about protein? Oh my gosh, well, if you're vegetarian, you know, you must eat just vegetables all the time, so how do you get your protein? For a long time, I honestly didn't know how to answer that, because I was a kid and I didn't know what protein even, like, you know, that I needed it, what it was in, how it came about, all that kind of stuff. But now I am older, and I have looked this thing up, and I have become aware of what protein is and where it can come from and how my body needs it. So I'm not going to go over all of those details, because I hope that you have some sort of awareness of that. But you'd be surprised at the amount of protein that I get from plant sources, and honestly, like, it's a lot. Like, they may not have, you know, one item may not have as much protein as one item of meat or fish, but if you, like, have that item plus another item, which are probably going to be about the same amount of calories anyway, you'll get that same amount of protein from plant-based things. So I'm talking, like, beans, legumes, nuts, yeah, and but, like, tofu, well, that's considered, like, a legume. Whole grains, dude, like, they have so much protein. Even, like, if you do eat dairy, you know, like Greek yogurt, oh my gosh, tons of protein. Eggs have protein. So it's, like, really, like, those are your base foods that you should be building off of anyway for your meals. And so, you know, those proteins, just combining them, you know, you're going to get plenty. And to prove that to you, I will give you an example of just a few days worth of my protein intake for the past, like, 4 days, I guess I'll say, from MyFitnessPal. So I've been tracking my food on there, and my goal for protein, I have recently upped it. So I think it used to be around like 60-ish or something, but I've upped it to about 80, just to see if that just did anything different. I'm kind of working on building a little bit more muscle, and I have read a lot of things that say protein can help with that. So you know, like I'm saying, my goal is about 83-ish, and I just started this, so I haven't really worked up to it yet. But past 4 days, I have gotten 62 grams of protein one day, 65 the next, 75 the next, and today so far I've gotten 66 grams of protein. And that's without using any protein powder at all. That's just from the base food. So honestly, I can say that I think is pretty good, and I would say don't worry. Like, if you're thinking about it and that's an issue, don't worry about it. You can definitely get enough protein, and I don't even really try sometimes. Like, I'll try to get maybe one thing in each meal that I know has a good chunk of protein, but then I just kind of build off and just eat random stuff, and it ends up turning out pretty good. So like I said, I'm trying to build up to about 80 grams a day. That's just me. Everybody is different. You can choose however much, and everybody's body, and you know, you like stuff more than other, you know, micronutrients and stuff. So anyway, that's that. And like I said, it's without protein powder. So that is something that I actually have yet to try, and I don't know why I have never used it. I just always thought it was weird, and it didn't really work that well, or wasn't, you know, as natural or as good. And that may be true in some instances, but there are definitely protein powders out there that are made from like good sources that don't have a bunch of weird additives, and I'll talk about that in another video. But I'm really wanting to try them very soon. And I mean, heck, like in one scoop of that you can get upwards of like 20 plus grams of protein. So if I just added one of those, I would, bam, have my 80 grams easily. So I'm just like, that just makes me really excited. I'm just on this protein kick right now, and I'm just like, yes, like I can actually do this. And I mean, I honestly feel pretty good, and I feel more full and all that kind of stuff after my meals. So yeah, so I've got one more point. Okay, so the last question that I get often about vegetarianism is about iron and how I get enough iron, because I think a lot of people think, you know, like you only get iron from meat. And it's true that there are there's two different types of iron. One is specifically found in like meat products, and one more in plant-based. The one in plant-based, it's not necessarily as easy to absorb, but it's still, your body still absorbs it, and it's still healthy, and vegetarians still get enough iron if you're eating a balanced diet. You know, honestly, I have been tested probably more times than I can count at doctors for anemia, because they're always like, oh, you're vegetarian, oh my gosh, like, let me see if you're anemic. And I've never been anemic, you guys, never. And I've had health problems before, like I was talking about, like I've had food allergies and all this kind of weird stuff going on, and I never once was I anemic, even though they kept testing me. So I don't know, like, I think I'm probably okay with iron, and that's just, you know, that's just been most of my life. I mean, I've never really had any issues, even when I didn't eat as balanced. So, I mean, you know, just look it up if you're worried about iron intake. You know, most of the products that you're going to get your good, you know, your big chunks of protein out of, you're actually going to get a lot of iron from those same products as well. So it's pretty sweet. So you can just kind of get both of those things in one. Yeah, so just not a problem. Don't even worry about it. Just, I mean, the biggest thing with being vegetarian is to get a balanced diet. And this is something that I can definitely talk about more, because, you know, it's easy to just kind of, you know, kick meat out and then just kind of eat whatever you want. But you really do need to pay attention and be eating enough of, you know, like I said, protein, things that have like good fats, and also you're, you know, getting the right amount of carbohydrates and stuff like that. So anyway, I think I'm going to be done now, so hopefully that gave you some good information. Sorry once again about the lighting. I'm really hoping that it's not that bad, but anyway, I also want to inform you guys that I have a Twitter account, oh, finally, and I also got myself a Facebook page. So I would greatly appreciate it if you went to the websites, which are down there, and just like the page or follow me on Twitter if you have it. If you want to, I'm not making you, but it would be awesome, because I really, you know, it's really my goal to get on there more often, post recipes, pictures of what I'm eating, what I'm doing, whatever it might be, and just even tips that I hear or read places. for you guys, because I mean, obviously, like once I start getting more followers and stuff, that will definitely give me more incentive to really be posting on there and all that good stuff. So I would highly, highly love it. That doesn't really make sense, but anyway, I would love it if you followed me or liked my Facebook page. So I also want to say, last thing, that if you have questions for me about, specifically about this video about being vegetarian, please ask me those questions either on Facebook or Twitter, or you can even post them here, and I will make another video just answering those things for you. So just any questions you might have, just let me know and I'll do my best to answer them. I may use other resources as well, because I'm not a, you know, vast place of information. No, definitely not. So anyway, I will be done. Thank you for watching and I will see you soon. Bye.